everyone for taking time out of their days to attend this presentation. As always, we have a few announcements to start. Just a reminder that if you're purchasing fillers from MERS Aesthetics, this is either Bellaterra or Radiesse, the quarter ends in about 2 weeks at the end of June, which means that you only have about 2 weeks to place your final orders before your rebates are going to be calculated and sent out. So keep in mind that Radiesse Plus, which is their new version of Radiesse, which includes lidocaine, is also included in our rebate program. I mentioned this during our last webinar, but as of May 1st, we partnered with Althera, also part of MERS Aesthetics portfolio, who offers an extremely effective ultrasound device for skin tightening if you're not familiar with their device. And with their upfront discounts and warranty and our $1,500 rebate, members are getting close to 30% off their device. And keep in mind that MedResults members are the only ones who get this kind of pricing. So Althera will be presenting during our next webinar on July 9th, and I encourage you guys to go to our website to register for this. Before we get started, I want to share with you some really fun and exciting news about MedResults Network, which is totally unrelated to our partners. Many of our members know Jim Parrott, my father and the founder of MedResults Network, as a very inspired business entrepreneur and visionary, and he's frequently asked how he does it. So since he's not here, I'm going to share a secret with you guys. And as Jim will tell you, everybody needs to actively nurture the creative and inspired part of your personality. And what works for Jim is really taking a second to step back from the business so that he can view the big picture and then spend some time thinking about it. And those of you who know Jim personally know that he lives a very balanced life. Even though he works very hard, he travels, he spends time with his friends, and he has a ton of hobbies. And in fact, I don't think our company, MedResults, would be such a dynamic company today if Jim wasn't taking all off to do what he calls his inspirational journeys. So with that said, earlier this week, Jim set off from the MedResults Network corporate offices here in Huntington Beach, California, in a VW bus, and he's going to spend about 6 weeks driving to the North Pole. And if you guys know anything about the North Pole, you will know that you can only drive so far before you have to take a flight or hike or use sled dogs to get to that final point. So that's exactly what Jim intends to do, and we're excited he's embarking on this endeavor. So far, he's driven through Ventura and Santa Barbara and Monterey, and earlier this week he hit Clear Lake, California. And the old VW bus that he's in decided to help him with some quality thinking time since both his radio and CD players stopped working within the first couple hours. So he's reporting back every 2 days or so, and those of you who'd like to follow Jim's drive to the North Pole, please just send me an email and let me know that you want to hear all about it, and we'll continue to send you frequent updates on his journey. So anyway, back to the reason why we're here today. This is our 12th educational webinar since November 6th last year, and today we've invited the author of Building Your Aesthetic Practice Through Social Media to join us. And Matthew Arndt, our presenter for today, is the founder and CEO of Turbo Medical Marketing, who's one of our newest vendor partners, and he's a true digital marketing expert in our industry. As marketing is a huge topic and can be a major challenge for many of us, and I think that's probably across the board in every industry, Matt's put together the 8 key marketing activities that he feels are essential to you, and these 8 marketing activities should be done on a monthly basis. And this is for aesthetic practices, not just anyone, but for you guys in particular. And I realize that 8 activities may be a lot to implement when you get back to your med spa or aesthetic practice, so I encourage you to take at least one of his suggestions and do it. And I think you'll find that the results of taking that one step in the right direction to have a major positive impact on your business. After the end of the presentation, if you have questions for Matt, please feel free to email me, or even better, after the presentation, you're going to receive a short survey and a pop-up asking whether you're interested in receiving additional information. Simply tick the yes box, and Matt will reach out to you directly. Okay? So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Matthew Arndt of Turbo Medical Marketing.
Thanks so much, Jamie, and thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your day. I know how busy, this time of the year is, especially, as well as just, being in your practice during the week. So, I truly do appreciate your time, and I want to make sure that you learn a lot and get a lot out of this presentation. So as Jamie mentioned, this is going to be about the top 8 marketing activities aesthetic practice owners should do each month. Now, I want to be clear about this. I don't think that the aesthetic practice owner needs to be the one that does all these things. I do believe that somebody in your practice needs to work on at least 1 or 2 of these, as Jamie mentioned, each month. And that way, you can really put together a practice that is always growing and is also sustainable. So let me tell you just a little bit about myself. My name is Matt, and I started the company Turbo Medical Marketing in 2009, and I've been working in internet marketing since I was 15. And in medical, I started doing internships at Johnson & Johnson actually when I was after my freshman year of college at UC Davis. So I also have a deep understanding of the aesthetic market because I've been an aesthetic patient myself. I had an otoplasty. I had my ears done when I was 12 years old, and I had a rhinoplasty to fix a septum when I was 19. I've also, been around the market for quite a bit of time, and I'm also the author of Building Your Aesthetic Practice Through Social Media, which was released in 2012. If you stay through the end of the presentation, I'm going to go ahead and send you out a physical copy of the book, as well as my digital marketing best practices checklist. And so just be on the lookout for those. And I hope you can bear with me and get through this presentation. And take out your pen. You're going to learn a lot here. So the first activity, I'm going to jump right in here, is to participate on RealSelf. Now, RealSelf is mostly for people that are board certified by a specialty, and so if you're a medical spa director, it's okay. It's still a good resource to know about in case you decide to take the next step. But basically, RealSelf is an amazing platform where patients and people researching procedures can go to ask questions. So on average, they're getting about 6 million unique visitors per month, and they're getting 27 million page views per month. We are also partnered with RealSelf because we believe that this concept of patients being able to ask questions and have them answered and discussed with a physician before they ever go into an office and doing the research is so important. So it's been a really good platform. Now, participation means that if you are a member of RealSelf, you can go in and answer these potential patients' questions, which I find to be a really valuable way of giving to get back. So they're going out there, they're donating their time, their knowledge, and they're basically creating a relationship with this potential patient before they ever come into the office. And to me, that's what marketing is all about. It's about building a relationship with a potential patient before they ever enter into a sales situation. Relationship is really the whole idea behind sales and marketing is creating that relationship and building that relationship. Now, basically all this additional content really brings in a lot of additional users, and they're getting over 22,000 doctor inquiries per month where these people that are on RealSelf are saying, hey, I'd love to talk to this doctor or a doctor about this procedure. So they're really generating a lot of great new leads for aesthetic practices, and I highly recommend taking a look at them if you're interested. All right. Marketing activity number 2, asking for reviews. Now, I think that this is one thing that a lot of people, realize how important this is, but they don't do anything about it. And the review sites that we're really finding are the most beneficial would be Google+. So if you have a Google+ business profile, people can write reviews of you there, and it really helps with your search engine optimization. Yelp is one of those sites that has had a lot of controversy over the years, but we're finding that it's still really important to approach it from a proactive standpoint instead of getting a bad review and then trying to cover up that review or getting upset with Yelp. Just be very proactive about this and Yelp can be your friend. I have multiple clients at Turbo Medical Marketing who get a substantial amount of new patients from their Yelp profiles, and also realself as well. So realself, doctors can get profiles, and your patients can review you on realself. The easiest way that we've been finding to get patients to review the docs that we work with is that we create a page on the website that has links to each of the profiles that we want people to review them on. And an easy way of doing this is to have a business card with a QR code. It's pretty simple to set up. You can research how to do it. I think we probably have a blog article about it on our website. But basically, you create a QR code. That QR code would link to this page so that your patient can go and review you and find the sites to review you on your profiles on the sites directly. Now, one of the things that I found that is really helpful is having the practitioner, whether that be the esthetician, the nurse injector, the laser operator, or the doctor, whoever's actually performing the procedure or service, asking for the review themselves. Basically, the way we frame it is, we're trying to grow our practice. I hope that you've been really happy with the service we provided, and it would be great if you could leave us a review to tell other people that are looking for, the same service about your experience. And most people will say, of course I'll do that for you, but then they'll do nothing. So it's really important to send a follow-up email later in the day to get people to review you. And you can just easily just send them the link to that page on your website where you have all those links to the review sites. It doesn't even necessarily need to be you that sends that email, but if you had a list of people for the person at the front desk, whoever your patient coordinator is, to send those emails out on your behalf, that's always an acceptable way of doing things, and you really do get good results. Where it becomes strained is if you try to do an email blast about getting a bunch of reviews. People don't tend to respond well to things that aren't personalized, so really make a personal effort. For every review you have on these sites, I'd say they'd probably be worth a few $1,000s in incoming revenue over the course of the year. So, I'm sure that it would be worth your time to do this. Another thing that we like to talk about is getting video testimonials. This can cause a potential HIPAA violation, so talk to your attorney about this, because obviously, if you're having a patient talk about the procedures they've gotten, it can make a really big impact, but you also need to be aware that there is a possible legal problem depending on how you do it and if you don't have the proper disclosures done. But video testimonials can be very, very powerful. But again, talk to your attorney and go from there. Okay, monthly activity number 3, before and after photos. I know a lot of people take before and after photos, but it's how you use them that really matters. Aesthetic patients are extremely results-oriented, meaning that they're totally more interested in looking at the results and seeing what the best results are going to be before they research what the actual procedure is and how it works and is it painful. They just want to see if it works and see before and after photos. They don't really want to know about the process as much at the very beginning. They'll justify that in their own minds as they go through the research process. But our analytics of the websites prove that the photo gallery on your website is the most viewed section, and all the pages within that section are the most viewed ones on your website. So making sure that you have a really good gallery is really, really important. Also, I always recommend having multiple angles on the photos and setting up like a little photo room in your office where you can have a blue background so that the photos just come out really professional. Make sure that you also crop and center and lightly edit your photos. I'm not saying to do a lot of photoshopping on them, but make sure that they look even and that the before and afters are taken at the same angle. They look pretty similar in terms of the setup of the photo. Also, I recommend watermarking your photos, because you don't, I've seen a lot of practices borrow photos from other websites, and you need to get the credit for the work that you've done. So make sure that you watermark the photos with your website address. And most graphic designers can help that. Most marketing agencies will be able to help you with that. And you can always email me, and I can help you out with pointing you in the direction of how to watermark photos if you need help with that. All right, monthly activity number 4 is scheduling events. I really feel like events are one of those underutilized things when it comes to marketing your practice. And I find it surprising, as a digital marketing person myself, the power of being in person and getting somebody through the door of your office so that you can meet them and spend time with them is invaluable. The digital world is great, but it does not replace the fact that you are running a face-to-face service. So make sure that you're running events on a quarterly basis at a very minimum. And a great thing that I like to do is have workshops about new procedures or any procedure that you want to sell more of. So it could be just an educational lecture where at the end, you go and you try to set people up at a discount to get these procedures done. And most of the vendors that you work with are willing to help sponsor these event giveaways and the events in general. They'll give you a complimentary product. Sometimes they'll even pay for some of the catering, however you want to do it. But make sure that you do this. Just give your vendors a little bit of heads up, and many of them will be willing to help out. They have a budget for this. Also, running a procedure special day, basically like a Botox day. I know that MedResults uses MERS, so any of the MERS products, doing a special day where you know you're going to be slow. Let's say that it's typically Friday afternoons you're slow. So if you run a special day or a special half day where people can come in and get discounted treatments on that day, it's always a great way to boost business when you're usually slow. Monthly activity number 5, and I apologize if I'm running through this too quickly for you, but we have a lot of things to cover and not enough time to do it, so I'm going to get back to it. All right. Monthly activity number 5 is find partners. MedResults is all about partnership, and Turbo Medical Marketing, we believe that this is a great way that you can create relationships with other local businesses and get business from them. So this isn't a digital marketing technique, but this is something that you should be doing. You should be networking with local hair salons and stylists, makeup artists, and day spas. And basically, whoever doesn't compete with you but has the similar patient or customer base that you would have, and give them cards so that they can refer people to you. Maybe that's $50 off your first injectable treatment, or a free sunscreen with a treatment. Anything that you want to do to make them feel special, but give them a reason to come in. And if you create these relationships, you'll have a lot more word of mouth. I find that hair salons and stylists and makeup artists are great because all they do is talk to the people that are sitting in their chair. They have it's a captive audience. So if you take care of them, they'll take care of you. And I'm not sure if you had any other ideas of who else you could cross-promote with, but I think that it's really important to try to network this way. All right, so monthly activity number 6 would be to plan and post on your social networks. So social networking, I wrote a book about this and how important this is, but it's something that you just need to do on a regular basis. Everybody gets their information in their own way, and social networking, sites like Facebook and Twitter, they're great for delivering information in a way that some of the younger audiences, it's not just young people on Facebook anymore. most people are on Facebook, and a lot more people are on Twitter these days and Instagram these days than ever before. So here's some tips and strategies that you can use around your social networking strategy. You want to engage your audience, ask questions, look for feedback, etc. You want to be posting video content. We've been finding that video is incredibly powerful on Facebook, and even if it's not your own video that you're posting, if you're sharing a video from one of your vendors or anything like that, it'll end up showing up in the newsfeed a lot more often. Facebook has really slowed down their delivery rates to about 3 or 4% based on how much you're putting out there, basically because they want you to pay for advertising. But their video content is showing up about 20% of the time. So, if you can figure out a way to get videos into your newsfeed, you're going to get a lot more engagement off of those. Share photos from inside the practice, including pictures of the doctor with patients or in the practice. We found that people really like personalized photos within the practice. Also, you can post giveaways, promotions, and events. You can post vacation photos from staff or the practitioners. Talk about any babies being born by staff members or doctors within the office, and post questions and link to content on your blog and anything on your website. More or less, you're just trying to create that relationship and build a personal connection. So monthly activity number 7 is to educate with blog articles. So this statistics, and this is actually maybe a couple years old, that said that 60% of businesses who blog acquire more customers. So a lot of people ask us, we've been doing blogging for a long time. We blog personally, as a company, very often, at least 2-3 times a month, and we recommend that the practices that we work with also blog on a regular basis. If you don't know what a blog article is, it's basically about 300 to 400 word article on a singular topic. It's not a full newsletter. You can definitely link to your blog articles, but you want to answer a very specific question on a very specific topic in these blog articles. So one of the things that we like to recommend to our practices is that they blog about their most lucrative procedures. Always start with your most lucrative procedures no matter what. So typically, neuromodulators aren't going to be the most profitable thing that you provide, but maybe if you already own a laser and doesn't have a consumable, starting with laser hair removal might be a really good place to start. Just because it's, you already have the overhead on that, and there's no cost other than, the person's time to operating that laser. So you can also post your monthly specials on your blog. You would want to announce new staff members, talk about new procedures that are being offered at the practice, posting patient success stories. This is also in line with linking that back to the gallery section of your website. If you do press releases, we recommend doing them quarterly at least. Make sure you post those press releases onto your blog as well. And then embed videos that you shoot in your practice onto your blog. The blog is great because it generates a lot of new patients from search engine optimization, because people search for very specific things, and I think that search engine optimization is a very important aspect of new patient generation for aesthetic practices. But I think that the best way of generating SEO traffic is through things like blog articles and optimizing those. So that's really an important thing to do, and it's not the most complicated thing to do, is to write a blog article. If you just take a little bit of time to do that, it's really going to help your practice a lot. Okay, So the eighth and final activity that you need to do on a monthly basis would be to send email blasts. I can't reinforce that communicating with your patient base is so important. This is what is going to continue to reactivate your existing patients. I've said it before, and I'll tell you guys again. On average, it costs 7 times more to acquire a new patient than it does to keep your existing patients around. So doing something as simple as sending out an email blast on a monthly basis is going to be really important to retaining your patient base. Now, you can do this on your own. There's plenty of vendors out there that you can send out using Constant Contact, iContact, MailChimp. I mean, the list goes on, GetResponse. But the point is that you just need to do it. And it needs to be done on a regular basis because people are expecting to hear from you, and you want people to be looking forward to those specials and give them a reason to. So here's an example of a seminar that was sent out for one of our clients, where we just created this email blast and sent it out on their for them, and this is just a basic marketing email. And then here's one more example where this was for a Bellatero promotion. A lot of times, your vendors will have a promotion that they're giving to you to try to sell more. You might as well just spend a little bit of time and send it out if you can generate some new patients out of it, or you can get your existing patients to come back in. It's totally worth the investment in terms of time and energy to send out an email blast. All right, so just to recap what we've talked about today, these are the monthly activities that you really need to take care of on a monthly basis. Participating on realself, asking for reviews, taking before and after photos and getting them posted on your website, scheduling events, finding partners, planning and posting on social networks, educating with blog articles, and sending an email blast. So a question that we're often asked is, what can you outsource? Just to be clear, every marketing activity that we talked about today, and every marketing activity in general, is going to require input from your practice. No one can just take, there's no generic approach to this, so it's really important that you have a personalized approach to this. An agency like Turbo Medical Marketing can help with parts of each marketing activity, and we really would encourage you to talk to a digital marketing professional who specializes in the aesthetic market in order to learn more about how this can apply to your practice. So if you want to know more, as Jamie mentioned, you can reach out to her. You can also reach out to me directly. I appreciate your time today, and I'm going to be sending out your complimentary best practices document to your email shortly in the next couple days, and then I will also be mailing out a copy of the book, and I'll probably be using the address that Jamie and MedResults Network has on file for you. So if you want to have your book delivered to a different address, please let Jamie or myself know, and you'll get that book within the next 2 weeks. Thank you so much for your time. And Jamie, you have anything else you want to add there?
Well, I just want to say thank you to you, Matthew, for presenting today and sharing your wisdom with all of us. To everyone who attended, thank you for being here. And just please note that this is a really abbreviated version of what you guys can be doing in your practice to enhance your marketing. And Matthew's got a lot of other knowledge to share with you. If you want to take the time to speak with them, please reach out to him directly, or as I mentioned, there will be a brief survey as soon as you close this window, and just click the yes button when it says you'd like more information, and he will reach out to you directly. So with that said, thank you again, Matthew. Thank you to our attendees, and I look forward to seeing you at our next webinar on July 9th. Thanks again. Have a great day.